When it comes to children, predators always seem to find a way, and they're moving from the streets to the web as violence against young people becomes overwhelming online. There is a fight being waged against the horrific crimes, though. KIMT News 3's Sarah Danik is in Studio 3 with a special report on just how serious these dangers are.
You heard from now 26-year-old Alicia Kozakevich earlier tonight. At 13 years old, she was abducted from her Pittsburgh home and taken to the basement of a man that she met online. She was tortured, raped, and abused for 4 days. Alicia is a lucky one, though. She was rescued by the FBI. Her abductor was sentenced to 19 years in prison. Since then, Alicia has been telling her story around the nation.
One of the most important messages that I can share is that this can happen to you, and it can happen to your family.
It is happening in our area as well. Tonight, you're going to learn how child exploitation is being fought and what tools parents can use to keep their families safe.
Tonight, we're learning more details on a 10-month-long child pornography investigation in southern Minnesota.
Police are releasing some very disturbing details about the investigation and the arrest.
One member of an Austin couple is pleading guilty in a child pornography case while the other now heads to trial.
You see it right here on KIMT. But does the reality of these crimes really hit home?
It's hard to even think of the words that describe that.
Local police who investigate these cases say it should.
We have to be reminded to think of the things that get termed as child pornography as really the images of the sexual assault of kids. I mean, and unfortunately, we see it down even to the ages of infants.
And while the public may be somewhat desensitized to what's happening in the dark web,
this is where the evidence comes to once we've seized electronic evidence.
Officers like Jeremy Ryle are not.
People don't want to believe, number one, that kind of stuff exists. They don't want to believe that people can do that to children.
Officer Ryle is with the Mason City Police Department and is also part of the Iowa Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. It's one of 61 different task forces around the nation. They're charged with proactive and reactive investigations involving internet crimes against children.
If we could identify a victim and know where that child is through whatever means it takes to figure it out, through the investigation of this stuff, then that would be the primary goal, would be to make sure that kids aren't being victimized by this.
The other goal is to go after those who are abusing, producing, trading, or possessing the images. And because those photos and videos can travel so quickly, it's a team effort between local, state, and federal agencies. And they're being kept busy on home turf.
I think people have the impression that this is something that occurs in Europe or in Asia or something like that, and there is that out there. But the majority of child pornography that exists is produced in the United States.
One of the reasons for the explosion in child pornography is because of something you probably have with you right now. More than 50% of Americans own a smartphone, something with video taking devices or a camera. And all that accessible technology can mean big problems for teens.
Depending on how that teenager shares the picture, if somebody sends an explicit picture of themselves out, once they've lost control of it, that person can share it. The person they send it to can share it with their friends. They can upload it to other places on the internet.
In Iowa and Minnesota, there is no distinction in the law between sexting and child pornography. So if a minor sends out a naked photo of themselves, even to a boyfriend or girlfriend, he or she could face charges of producing, distributing, or possessing child pornography.
I see a lot of kids who come from great homes, who have parents who are really supportive and very involved, and it only takes one time for one picture to get out there, and it kind of be everywhere.
Bridget Christensen is a social worker and therapist and says she's seen all kinds of problems linked to teens, technology, and the internet.
I don't think that they always get the idea that pedophiles could be sharing this picture on a website full of other pedophiles. I don't think that they always get that big picture.
And her job is getting those young people to see the long-term impact and help them move past the dangerous behavior.
I think for a lot of parents, you need to be really vigilant about if they're talking to someone else online and pretty much shut it down. I think that we need to tell kids very young that they can't be chatting with random strangers online.
Because if you don't talk to your kids, someone else might. And as Alicia Kozakevich knows, that can turn into a nightmare.
It's gotten a lot easier for predators to find victims because we're laying it all out there. Everything that you possibly need, where the person lives, where they go to school, what they look like, who their friends are, what their hobbies are. Everything that a predator really needs is all right there.
Everyone I spoke with for this story stressed the importance of education. While parents can put all kinds of internet filters on at home, if they don't understand what kinds of devices and apps their kids are using, there can be some real problems. It's also crucial that kids are ready to handle these tough situations on their own, because parents won't always be around to encourage good choices.
All right, Sarah, thank you very much. We'll be hearing some surprising attitudes among teens on this very issue coming up on Monday. And we have more information and resources for teens and parents coming up on our website, KIMT.com.